when we look at Veda as a one aspect or entity, Veda is divided into 4 components. As you will see on the left side, Veda has Sanhita, then there are Brahmanas, then there are Aranyakas, and there is Upanishad. So what are these aspects? So we'll see that at a very high level real quick. So as you see, the way that the knowledge system is evolved as a tree. And let's say that tree has 4 branches that are 4 Vedas. And there are further branches or further aspects which are different components of those Vedas. So Sanhita is actual collection of mantras, and in different Veda, those mantras are also called different things. So in Rigveda it is called Richa, but basically that collection of mantra that was revealed is called Sanhita. Now some of those Sanhitas were little difficult to understand, little difficult to explain, little difficult to apply in certain processes. So the Brahman Grantha are written, which gives additional commentary about these Sanhita and detailed explanation about certain rituals. That is given in Brahman. Aranyaka, as the word indicates, Aranya means forest or jungle. So certain sages went into forest and started contemplating, started analyzing these Sanhitas, started to understand the deep knowledge, deep secrets in these Sanhitas. And those were explained are described in different texts called Aranyaka. Some Veda, some Aranyakas itself are Upanishads, or in some cases, the tail part of Aranyaka is Upanishad. But what is Upanishad? Upanishad basically is again additional knowledge or additional explanation of Vedic knowledge. And most of the Upanishads come in the discussion format. So it's a dialogue between Guru and Shishya. And Guru is explaining certain aspects to Shishya. Shishya is asking questions. They are giving more explanation and so on. But the entire knowledge is further explained in more simplified format in a dialogue or interaction format in Upanishad. So Rigveda, if you look at, Rigveda has few Sanhitas, Shakal and Bashkal, and it has Aitareya, Aranyaka. Then it has Aitareya Brahman, Kaushitaki Brahman, and Sankhyayan Brahman. And there are 3 primary Upanishads associated with Rigveda. One is Aitareya, Bashkal and Kaushitaki. When you go to Yajurveda, Yajurveda has 2 branches. Yajurveda has Shukla and Krishna Yajurveda. And Krishna Yajurveda has different Aranyaka, Taittiriya and Maitrayani. And it has Taittiriya Brahman. And there are multiple Upanishads. Taittiriya, then Maitreya Upanishad, and Shvetashvatar Upanishad, and so on. All these part of Krishna Yajurveda. The Shukla Yajurveda has Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, and Brihadaranyaka itself has 2 branches, Maitrayani and Kathaka. Then it has similar way 2 Brahmins, Brahman Grantha, and there are few interesting Upanishads. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Ishavasya Upanishad, you must have heard these names. Very, very good Upanishads. If you get a chance, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is beautiful. Kathopanishad, beautiful. Again, not to discriminate, say one is better than other, but these are some very, very good texts we must read at some point. The Samaveda has Kauthum and Pranayani and Jaimini, those 3 branches. And then there are multiple Brahmins. Tandya Brahman you must have heard of, or Ashreya is there, and Jaimini is there, so on and so forth. There are different Brahmins. There is Kena and Chandogya. These are 2 primary Upanishads. Those are associated with Samaveda. And Atharva Veda has Shaunak and Pippalad Sanhitas. Gopatha Brahman, again, you must have heard this name, Gopatha Brahman, or even Shatapatha Brahman, which is another Brahman which is very well known. So those are, Shatapatha is also Shukla Yajurveda, and then Gopatha Brahman is Atharva Veda, but one of the very well known Brahmins. And Atharva Veda has multiple Upanishads. There are so many Upanishads. Those are associated with Atharva Veda. Okay, so Prashna, Mundaka, Mandukya, these are all Upanishads which are associated with Atharva Veda. So that is the high level structure. We saw what is Sanhita, Brahman, Aranyaka and Upanishad. Sanhitas is the mantras that we heard. The primary purpose is to invoke gods, praise gods, so on and so forth. The person who is educated in Vedic knowledge system and participates in rituals is called Ritvik. Ritvik is the person who is knowledgeable or knowledgeable in Veda. And based on different Veda, there are different Ritviks or 4 types of Ritvik, one for each Veda. So the Ritvik that is primarily focused on Rigveda is called Hota. The Yajurveda Ritvik is called Advaryu. Samaveda is called Udgata, and Atharva Veda is called Brahma. Brahmins, as we discussed, they provide additional explanation, detailed discussions about philosophical aspects and rituals in yajna rituals. Now here I want to make one quick comment. When we think about yajna, typically we think that there is a fire altar, there are bricks laid, and ahutis are given or oblation are given in the agni. That is yajna. That is just one form of yajna. Any structured process with proper intent to accomplish something is yajna. So even eating food is considered as yajna, right? Taking shower is considered, or taking bath is considered as yajna. So every activity is yajna. The yajna is not limited to making offerings in the fire. That leads to a lot of confusion in a lot of interpretations, especially in the form of what we offer as ahuti and what does yajna really mean. This we talk about which are the Brahman Grantha associated with different branches of Veda. We also discussed what are the Aranyaka. Those are contemplations made in distance from main cities so that the contemplation and philosophical interpretations become easy. We saw what is Upanishad, what are the Upanishads associated with different Veda. As I said, based on Vedic knowledge, a lot of sages extracted certain portion of the knowledge which is relevant in one specific aspect and documented that as a different Veda. And those Veda or those supplementary texts are called Upaveda. And as we briefly discussed, there are 4 primary Upavedas. One is Ayurveda, and we all know what is Ayurveda. It is all the medicine, medical sciences, medical treatments, surgeries, all these aspects are described in details in Ayurveda. Ayurveda is primarily derived from Rigveda, but again, there are different sections are derived from different Veda. So the primary content is from Ayurveda, from Rigveda, but the Sushrita Samhita says that it is primarily derived from Atharva Veda. Then next is Dhanurveda. Dhanurveda is knowledge about warfare. Now, warfare does not only mean one aspect of the war. It addresses warfare as a very comprehensive topic. So it has a discussion about weaponry. What are the weapons? What are the type of weapons? What are the explosives? What are the different ways you launch a weapon, right? All these things, what are the effects of those weapons? And when you're building the weapons, most weapons obviously are built using some metal. So the knowledge of metals and metal alloys is also extremely important while building the weapons. So the metallurgy aspects are also discussed in details in Dhanurveda. Because if you're building the sword, you need to know what sword you need to build, which will have optimal weight, optimal strength, optimal power, and so on and so forth. And it will not rust easily, it will last longer, all those aspects. So the composition of the metal which goes in building that sword is also important. A lot of knowledge about explosives, or those are called astra. So shastra is something that you hold in your hand and then fight. Astra is something that you launch like a missile and fight. So there is a lot of description and discussions available. Then next is Gandharva Veda. Gandharva Veda is primarily from Samaveda. Samaveda, all the mantras are sung. Samaveda, the name itself means mantra sung. That is what Samaveda literally means. So all the knowledge related to music as well as other art is extracted from Samaveda and formed into a different Veda called Gandharva Veda. And the last and most important is Shilpa Veda, is also called Sthapatya Veda, which is more about architecture. Now, when you think about architecture, typically we think of, okay, how do I construct a building? So typically in modern days, the architecture aspects are limited to building a building, one building, constructing one building, or whatever, a couple of buildings. Whereas Sthapatya Veda or Shilpa Veda addresses much comprehensive aspects of a building. It has aspects about town planning, road planning, the water supply planning, the sewage planning, all kinds of aspects, the different aspects. If you build an entire town, what all things are there as a part of that town? All those aspects are addressed. So it is very, very comprehensive knowledge and not just limited to one aspect of constructing one building or one wall or whatever, right? So that is collected in Sthapatya Veda or Shilpa Veda, which is extracted mostly from Atharva Veda. Then, based on additional aspects of Veda in more of a literal or literature kind of format, there are a few aspects which are called Vedanga. Vedanga or limbs or additional aspects of Veda. So there are 6 such Vedangas. The first one is Shiksha, which deals with pronunciation, phonetics, how to chant certain alphabet, what is the right pronunciation of certain alphabet, how the words are combined, how those are separated, and so on and so forth. In the recitation context, those are discussed in Shiksha Grantha. Then Chanda is like a meter, poetic meter. So how to construct a verse or how to construct a mantra, how many syllables should be there, what should be the format, so on and so forth. Those kind of aspects. Again, the beauty about the poetic aspect, it's described in Chanda. Vyakaran is a grammar. So all the language related rules and details around that, those are discussed in Vyakarana. Nirukta is another branch. Nirukta discusses etymology of different words. So what is the origin of the word? What does that word really mean? Where does it come from? All those aspects, the background of a word or etymology of different words is discussed in Nirukta. Kalpa talks details about rituals. Now, when we perform a ritual, during Sankalpa, we always say Kalpokta Phala Praptyartham, to get the rewards that are discussed in the Kalpa. So that is the word you might know, or the context of Kalpa you might know in various rituals. So, but various ritual related aspects are discussed in Kalpa, and Jyotisha discusses both astronomy and astrology. Typically, when we talk about Jyotisha today, we think, oh, it is only astrology, but it is not just astrology. It is astronomy and timekeeping, time measurement, planetary motions, all those aspects are discussed in Jyotisha Shastra. So those are Vedanga.